All right. Good morning, cyber traders. Welcome back on this lovely Wednesday, hump day on Wednesday. Let me tell you, Tuesday was awesome. Was an awesome day. CRIS was unbelievable yesterday. Stock was at $1, gapped up, went to 4. Look at this thing was up almost like a gazillion percent. What a nice little mover yesterday on that CRIS. And we're going to talk a lot about it. We had one really good one this morning. Also, we're going to talk about the XBIO that really moved a lot in pre-market this morning. Company got, I think, got approval for phase 3 trial, and that's always big news to get that. So we'll see what happened. We've seen how that works with the vaccine. Some people never realize how that drug companies, how everything works around what they do with these phase 2, 1, 2, and 3 trials. And in our classes, when we teach people how to, when we look at news, sometimes I've been educating them the basics of that. And I think everyone's probably starting to learn that more and more now with the virus going on and what an impact it would have on certain drug stocks. And like I'll just bring it up right now and we'll look at it. Like a stock like this XBIO, just out of nowhere, just literally just took off, went from $1 to 450. It was just great. Anyway, Gene, you made about 20 cents in Cruise right now in CRIS. We're gonna check that one out too. Cruise is obviously what a great animal stock. We're gonna check that out. But before we do that, let me just change it so people can see on YouTube a little bit better. And I want to talk about some other stocks that we did trade yesterday because there were a couple of good ones that did make some nice moves. I want to start off with the LXRX trade right there. So let me fix the time frame here so it's easy to see. So that one right here, that one had another nice little move, nice little gap up in the morning, went from $1.80 to about $2.40, shot up to about $4, all the way up until like 12 o'clock. Had a really, really nice move. Now, obviously, the party's over. You could see after 12 o'clock, things are over. Remember, we stop commentary in our trading room at 10:30 for a reason. If you haven't, looked at and bought the cyber clock map yet, you probably a mouse pad, you probably would see it. I remember I invented this thing 25 years ago, and until today, till people tell me it saves them thousands, tens of thousands, because there's only certain times to trade, and it's not a full-time job. So, when it's time to take off, it's time to take off. And you could see that that happens right with stocks like the LXRX. Another stock I want to keep an eye on. What the hell's going on with U.S. Steel? So remember I told you this yesterday. If you watched our if you were here on YouTube or Facebook, or maybe watching it on a video, but cyber traders, this. We were talking about the metal stocks. But U.S. Steel, I mean, how do you know to buy U.S. Steel? I mean, where did U.S. Steel come from? Well, it all starts as a day trade. We've seen it. We saw it tick up right around following making higher highs when it was back in November. It was at 9.50, 10, 10.50. Then boom, it went from 11 to about 14, and it just closed at the highs of the day. When you're a good trader, not even a good investor, but if you're a good trader, great traders never buy at the bottom and we never sell at top. Okay. We always buy in between. That's a good trader. If you buy at the bottom and sell at top, which sounds better than buying in between, you're a horrible trader because what that means is, number one, you got lucky, and number two, you're going to strike out more than you make. You got to know, you got to go with the trend. Don't sit there and say, oh, look, the stock bounced. How did you know it was going to bounce there? You know what I mean? You got to watch the money. But anyway, U.S. Steel did pretty well. FCell also, want to bring that up. FCell, we've been trading this stock, has been a great day trade also. $2 stock to 11. Stock's been doing great. So been doing pretty well with that one. And we had a couple of good swing trades. Chewy, we're all, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a fan of Chewy. Chewy's been doing unbelievable. I don't know what that was in pre-market. It went to $84. So I had Chewy. I sold it. I broke even. Then I lost money on it. Chewy just went public not too long ago, but ever since then, now it's really starting to break out. I think they really have the niche. To me, they're Chewy. I don't know if anyone has any pets, but Chewy's basically the Amazon of shopping. For shopping for pet food and stuff like that. Great website. Use it all the time. And I'm like, you know what? Can't afford Amazon anymore. So, Chewy, if I'm going to use it, I'm going to buy it. And it's starting to get a little expensive too, actually. But those also doing really well. Now, let's go talk about what's moving this morning. So let's go see what's going on this morning. There's a couple of stocks. Now, we got the A list and we have the B list. Now, we had the pre-market list. If you were in our cyber group room, I had the list up there. Some of them were great. Some of them are now moving to the B list. So, and then all of a sudden we had this XBIO came from nowhere. I don't know where this thing came from, but we're going to check them out and see what's happening with some of them. And hold on one second. Let me bring this up. All right. So we got the THCB. That's on the A list. I don't know what happened. I started backing off. So anyway, this stock has been a really fun stock to trade. The chart, if you look at it on the long-term chart, it's not as pretty as it looks like. Wow, this thing was like maybe $1 went to 13. It only went from 10 to 13. All right. But the chart sure makes it look like this thing has some unbelievable volatility. But the stock right here, just be very careful. It's got very small tier sizes. Look over there on the right-hand side on the level 3. You could see it. There's a lot of hundreds, couple of thousands here that make iceberg orders. But this is going to probably be, if you did trade it and you go back to your journals, cyber traders that we gave you. It would teach you how to monitor and manage your trades. Because I always tell you, you're going to come back to that stock. So go check it out and see how it works. But I might throw this back on the B list. ARPO made the A list. Actually, you know what? I'm going to slap this on the B list because it's a penny stock. I don't need to go any further than that. Cruise. I like this stock a lot. It's been very volatile. It's been a lot of fun. It had some great iceberg orders. You can put this one also on the A list, but you can go by and see what happened as of yesterday. You can use previous support and resistance levels, but remember what we teach you here. I said it yesterday. We did an event. Oh yeah, I know that's right. Chewy had earnings. Thank you very much for sharing that with me. Thank you. Chewy had earnings yesterday. I forgot about that. How did I not know that when you own the stock? All right. But let me see what happened on here in the other one. Yeah, I mean, it had great. I mean, the thing popped in earnings at after hours, but it looks like upon it kind of just closed, but right where it was. But that was, damn. Hope it goes back up there. Earnings. Remember, I always told you about earnings. Companies go out of business every 3 months, and people, even if the company's been in business for 20 years, 50 years, because they have a responsibility to report if they're making money or not. I was teaching, my son. He's like, Dad, can you teach me how to trade? I'm always teaching, little kids, our younger generation. They all want to know how they can benefit. And I talked about this yesterday. Anything I could do, charity work or educate people. If it's prison reform, that I did the other day, like educate people about the market. They have to understand the function and the basis of what they're buying. And they just say, no, I just want to make money. And, that's why I get so upset when I see people watching these YouTube videos and they go out there and everyone's bragging how much money they make in this and that. And you know what? They have no idea why they even made money on the stock other than they make money. And the people are like, well, why? What's the big deal? It has a lot to do with it because some of you here, had trade, let's say futures, options, whatever. And you're like, how many of you guys really made money doing it? And how many people I talk to says, "Oh yeah, I blew up my account." Well, why did you trade in the first place? If you knew the purpose of what that market, how it actually works, then you would understand. I put the fear in God in somebody before I even trade a stock. And you should have the fear in God in you because you can blow up your account. You got to know exactly what you get yourself involved in. And I'm actually going to do a webinar on that too to kind of teach everyone that. But anyway, getting back to the younger generation, they go out there and they just don't understand what the stock does. And you have to teach them the basics to understand why they do what they do. And it all starts with those earnings announcements because if that company doesn't meet their earnings, boom, it's a done stock. All right. Actually, earnings, I think, has a lot more to do than news on a company. Now, because the news starts it, but at the end of the day, did they make money from that news? Anyway, let's go back on the B list. Sorry about my chant. I go off on my little rants here and there, but I think it's very important that We always kind of educate everyone early in the morning. Now the XBOIO, this is the company that came out with the earnings and with the phase 3 trial approval. If you notice, it hasn't really moved. It hasn't really moved. I'm watching it pretty closely here on my level 4. Now, for some of you, if you watched Bookmap yesterday, whoever has an account with them, I did an event on it. You actually can watch my video. And by the way, it was really a good, I really went over and beyond to educate people a little bit about it. And I got really basic on it. But you can see there's a big seller out there, and he's really having a tough time busting through that 440, 460 price range. So, and that level 4 is like God to me. But you could see now the there's a lot more sellers than buyers if you look on the red versus the blue on the level 3. But I'm going to keep an eye on that one too, because apparently that news is pretty big. Another penny stock, another stock I'm a little cautious about. It's up 83%. Listen, penny stock, $7. Is that even possible? Yes. Okay. Then I get people like, oh, I don't deal with penny stocks when it's a $3 stock. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's ain't penny stocks. I mean, these are, you could trade a $12 stock, a $50 stock. I even think what's it called? Nintendo, Nintendo, the video game, that trades on the penny stock. So you got to be very careful of that. So we got that one, RCON. Okay, want to keep an eye on that one. Once again, that's on the, that's going on the B list. FRAN, Fran. Fran, I don't know what happened to this thing. So it just took off out of nowhere, went from 250 to 650, and it's starting to back off. It's starting to make, it started making lower lows. Got a little, but it's holding pretty strong here, right around the 350 price range. There's a couple of big orders out there. You can see there's a 2,900 share sell buyer, but it doesn't have very big tier size. So be very, very careful of Fran. CIDM is another one we're going to keep on the watch list. But damn it, you know what? What's with all these penny stocks? I'm going to scratch these damn things out. There's too many of them. There's too many of them. All right. The other big thing I want to talk about is airlines. What did I tell you what's going on airline? I don't know what's going on with these airlines, but I mean, they had these really big jumps yesterday. American Airlines obviously was a lot of fun to trade yesterday. Let me bring this up right here. But it had a big pop, moved up pretty nicely. All airlines are moving. I mean, Delta is back to $42. That's actually where I sold it. I bought Delta for one reason and one reason only, and that was during the crash. Once the crash was actually happening, Warren Buffett bought it. Okay, Warren Buffett bought it, and yes, he did take a loss on it. He bought it. He bought it at like 44, and then I bought it at 42. Wasn't really going anywhere, and then it started going down, and then he made an announcement. It's so funny when he tells you later, like 3-4 days later, he sold it. He got out of it. I ended up selling it at like 37, and I took a loss on it, and obviously went all the way down to the 20s. But now the airlines started to go back. It's right back to a very, very big sweet spot right there, 42. It's got to break that 42 resistance levels. But all the airlines are doing just great, And I told you, I've been a fan of it, for a long time. But this is not more of a day trade. This is more of a swing trade. But how do we know it's been a good swing trade? We've been watching it over the course of the day. All right. I'm in Jets now, looking like buying fossil fuels oils. Jets. Oh, that's yeah. Jets is obviously doing pretty well too. You could see that. Definitely, Jerry. That's a pretty good call right there. Yeah, I could definitely see that. All right. Anything we're missing? I did not call out, guys. I want to get you guys get ready. Get the market opening up soon. Yes. Thank you very much, Jahal on YouTube. DoorDash is going public today, so. You could see the date is not coming up. It's not open yet. Usually they open up around like 10:30, 11, whatever it is. I'm just going to tell you point blank. Do not trade IPOs, okay? You have to be extremely lucky to get it, and you got to be have some deep pockets. They are very volatile. I don't even trade IPOs, okay? I let the smoke clear, let everybody do what they got to do, let everything happen. but IPOs, just try to stay away from them. It's definitely, an exciting IPO that's coming out. Everybody knows DoorDash and everything else. And hey, if you don't believe me, look what happened to Lyft. Look what happened to one of the biggest IPOs that when it came out. Look at Uber. Okay, look what happened to those. You let the smoke clear and then let everybody know what's going on, and then we'll worry about it. Believe me, there are other stocks that do a lot better than some of these. But I'm going to watch it. I want to see what happens. It's going to be great. It's great for the market. It's great for the industry. And it's great for the company to be public. That's great to hear. All right. Yes, no longs. DoorDash revenues is $1 billion. It definitely is a monster company. All right, guys, listen, good luck today. Let's get ready to trade and keep an close eye on this IBIX. Before we go, just want to basically just remind everybody, tomorrow we got the big event that's coming on. If you have not registered yet, I'm going to post a link up on the website, on our chat room. But tomorrow is our Cyber Expo. We got 3 great speakers. We got the day trader, which is me. You got the futures and options, Hubert Sanders, and you got Melissa Armour talk about more swing trading, so on. 3 big speakers. All you really need. Don't miss it. If you haven't registered, please go there. Listen, great traders never stop learning. Okay. That's the key about being very good in trading. And you know what? Great traders surround themselves with great traders, which is another very important thing you got to look at. So guys, good luck today. Happy trading. Be safe. And we'll see you back here at 2:30.